Hello everybody, I want to take a few minutes here just to talk about the Wen Model 6321. For the price point, this is actually a really great sander. However, there is one little issue with it that that can be kind of, if you're pretty handy, you could probably do it yourself. So I used this thing for about a year straight at my job, and that means using it at least bare minimum 1 hour every day for about a year, and then it just stopped working. No sign of anything, no overheating, no smoking, no nothing. It's been a really great belt sander. So I asked myself what the heck was wrong with it, right? So I decided to split it open. So I'm gonna show you exactly what I found. So first off, safety first. Make sure she's not plugged in. So this is not plugged in. No power going to it. And this one has been fixed, so it's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and take out the 10 screws on this side. Forget about all the other fasteners on this side. Just pay no attention to this side. Everything you need to know is just right here. Okay, so now we're in, okay? And what you'll notice is some dust inside the casing here, okay? All over the place. I actually blew this out. I shouldn't have, but the dust gets in the casing, okay? So, and this thing actually moves a ton of air. It's very surprising to me how much air moves through this this belt sander. One, to remove all the dust, and two, to keep the motor cool. And it does a really great job, which is one of the reasons I really like this this belt sander. Any motor that keeps itself cool will last way longer. So the issue with all that air moving around inside this casing here is that I found a ton of sawdust, or well, sandings right inside the switch, and it wasn't allowing the contacts to make contact. So anyway, I took the switch apart. Now, you know, if you're not confident in doing electrical, maybe find somebody who is. But it is pretty straightforward, but it is a little bit tedious. So if you open this thing up, just be ready for a little challenge to put it back together. That's all. I'm going to split this thing open. First off, I'm just going to undo all the contacts. So I've just got a little flathead, or it'll take a little Phillips. Little brass lugs on there. That way the wire doesn't get all mushroomed. Not bad for the price point. Alright, so we're going to set the belt sander aside for a second here. Okay, there is, let's see here. There's 1 tab, 2 tabs, 3 tabs, 4 of them, okay? When you open this up, just be ready for stuff to fly out, okay? So, let's see here. And don't bend these tabs too much. It's plastic. Is not forgiving. Okay, so I got that side popped off. And now I'll work on the underside here. And one last one. Okay, now we're in. I don't know if you can see that. Alright, there you go. Now we have a random ball bearing right there. So now we got to figure out where that goes back. Okay, so this belt sander is actually quite a bit newer than the other one that I had. I like to have different belt sanders for every different grit I have. Okay, so what ended up happening is that these are your contacts. So when you press the switch, both of these go down and they both make contact. Well, the problem is, oh, there goes a spring. This all of these contacts were all full of sawdust, and it prevented it from making contact, and therefore the belt sander just stopped right in its tracks. Absolutely nothing. So anyways, all I did is I blew it all out, and I'll show you what I did next to slow down this process. Probably not eliminate it, because you still need to have the switch move over here. In case you got stuck there with the little ball bearing and the little spring, all right, there's a little hole here, right there, and the spring sits in there. So the spring goes right inside that little hole, and that just sits right on top, just like that, and you snap the cover back on. The little ball bearing just puts some down pressure on there. So we're going to put this cap back on. Okay, for the electricians out there, all right, you're thinking, oh, maybe you should put, while you're in there, put some dielectric grease or something in there. No. When it comes to woodworking tools, no dielectric grease. All that's going to do is invite dust, and it's going to have some place to stick. So keep that stuff out of there. I get where you're coming from, but just only for lugs or whatever. Something you're going to tighten down, not for moving parts. I'm going to close this back up. Okay. Now, you're going to want to make sure that when you put this all back together, that the wire doesn't get pitched anywhere. There's little places that are provided for the wire to pass through. So you're definitely going to want to make sure that they go right back in there and they don't get pinched in the casing. When that happens, bad things happen. So this is how I solved the problem of the dust getting in the switch. Now, that being said, there's still going to be room for air to be moving in this area over here, but I suspect that most of the air movement is in here. You can even see there's like a little pile of dust in here. But believe me, the other one was a whole lot worse. I used to work with a lot of MDF, and that stuff gets everywhere, and it's just awful for everything. Okay, so I chose to use a glue gun and just seal up all these little holes, okay? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, it's kind of maybe an anemic way to do things, but when you think about it, you know, if it doesn't work, then it's at least reversible. You can pull this stuff off of there, right? No, I'm using my kid's glue gun. So that's it. I did this to my other belt sander about maybe almost 2 years ago now, and haven't had an issue with it yet. So at least this way here, a lot less air movement. And we'll put that back in there. And that'll be that. Good. All right. So now we can put the screws back in. One last thing we should probably talk about before you start busting into your belt sander. When is actually pretty easy to deal with. So if it's still, you know, under the 3 months or whatever it is, you know, it doesn't hurt you to reach out to the company and see what they have to say. You never know. Maybe they'll maybe take the tool back or send you a new one or something. They're pretty helpful that way. So that's it. That's how I solved the issue with this belt sander. I haven't had any other issues with it, and it has been pretty well used. Well, not this one, but the other one on the other side of the bench. And yeah, not even, never skips a beat, other than the one issue with the switch, but that's been resolved. Anyways, thank you. Thanks for watching.